What is up, everybody? How is it going? I haven't done a YouTube video in a while. I'm excited to be back. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down my technique, talking about what I'm working on fixing, and for me, it's going to be the next few months is going to be a lot about breaking old habits that I used to have, and with my kind of rekindling of love for, I guess the love for the sport was still there, but I like love for actually doing the sport. Um, I want to take it as a chance to improve the kind of areas that I just sort of writ off, I'll be honest, when I was competing as habits and maybe just not the best things to focus on at the time. But now I just figured, like, I always look at it like, what would I tell my athletes if they had these habits? Like, they're just habits. Like, that's not an excuse to not change them. Anyways, for those that are new here, my name's Jack Burns. I'm the founder and head coach of Edge Rowing. I'm a former GB rower. We work with busy professionals over the age of 40, getting them rowing to the best versions of themselves. To the video. So this is a boat that I'm wanting a boat. I wanna get a boat, and Pauline knows how impulsive I am. And a lot of the time, I want something and then I get it. And a lot of the time that's good because things happen quickly. Some of the times it means I waste money or resources getting something I don't really use. But I mean, a boat, you can just sell it again. What's the big deal? But in the comments, create a good argument for me buying a boat. And I'll show it to Pauline. I know you guys aren't biased at all. But anyways, the stuff I was working on. So the first one, there was kind of some clips here where I just really noticed that my right arm would draw down. So looking at footage, come on, where's the pen? I'm rusty. I haven't done a YouTube video in a while. There we go. My right elbow is lower than my left. And it was actually something when I first started working with a really good coach who helped me loads, Ricky. It was literally the first thing he fixed. And the way he fixed that was rowing, but rowing with sculling with your right hand over your left instead of your left hand over your right. And it just really helps level out your elbows. And it's so easy because most of you skull left over right. It's easy to kind of let that right arm dip down. So this drill was something that just helped. I didn't actually do it in the session. I maybe should have, but I was just working on drawing that elbow up. And I like to talk about how you draw through. Like, there's two people behind you in the queue and they're trying to get in front. You're like, go away, get back in line. No, like that. That's kind of how you want to draw through at the finish. So it was a little bit worse at the start, and then I do think I got better as it went on. Something that can help the finish stability as well is just thinking about like holding on to it for long. And if you hold that connection there onto through the foot plate, and make sure that you're pressing out through the feet as you come through, you maintain good acceleration on the front of the spoon, and you can even see it here. Or maybe not, it's quite zoomed out, but there's a little air pocket behind it, and that air pocket behind the spoon makes it easier to pop the blades out, which makes balance easier. So that was the first thing that I was working on. I wasn't working on all of that in this session. It's just kind of like some of the things I'm currently working on in general. Don't go out and do 7 things or try and do 7 things at once. Just 1, maybe 2 different technical focuses at different ends of the stroke. So yeah, through watching like footage as well, I'll change the video so that you guys are entertained. Isn't that better how it's a different video? The thing I noticed that was through watching this footage, why is it so shaky? I don't know why it's doing that. That's upsetting for me to watch. Let's just go back to this one. Through watching footage, which again, I'd highly recommend everybody that wants to get better technically, having one of these cameras is a really, really good investment. I use them all the time when I was training. We send them to our athletes when they work with us. Akazo on Amazon is the brand that we use, AKASO. There's no promo code or anything. I don't get any kickbacks. It's just like a basic camera that does the job. You can get the GoPro one. This is the Insta360 I use. It's a bit more of an investment, but I think it gives you great, great angles. Anyways, what I noticed was that my catch, when I would be slow going into the catch, I would have a nicer catch and I'd be more controlled. And if I was rushed going in, I would just be a little bit, I'd miss connection. So that was one thing I picked up on. That's less so a habit, but just one thing I noticed was good for me to do. So something I've been trying to bring into my stroke is just have a bit more flow and composure at the front of the stroke. Honestly, the way that you can do that is just by doing it. Just slow down at the catch. Like, that's literally it. Slow down. There's no magic drill. You just need to do it. Sometimes changes, like you just need to do the change. Anyways, let's see if this video actually works. Yeah, that looks all right. This is kind of one of the first sessions back that I filmed. This was the session when I did, and I was like, I got the bug again. I was like, that was so good. Anyways, what else? So the hands. So an old habit of mine was not keeping there it is. Caught red-handed. So my left thumb would always be on the oar handle, but my right thumb would kind of hang down like that. And what I noticed was that I was just over square my blade a little bit there. So you can see, looking at the left, nice and straight up and down, that right one would be kind of just over squared a little bit. And does this really slow down the bow? Like, is it really bad? Like, I think because I normally get more backsplash on the right blade. Like, as soon as I feel that kind of backsplash, the blade like straightens up again and I get the connection. And how much disruption is that really causing to the hull? Have I ever like crabbed because my blade is too square? I don't think I have. But I'm a perfectionist and I want to have a perfect stroke. And my goal is one day for me or for anybody to look at my stroke and see like, God damn, there's nothing you can do better. That is perfect. So I'm working towards that. But yeah. This is a change for me. I just, I really avoided it because I didn't see the benefit in it. And you can see I changed it there. The thumb was back on top there. It was as if I was listening to myself in the future. Sorry for the shit chat, everybody. But yeah, it just gives you a little bit more control. Be interested to see if when I did that, still over squared a little bit. So maybe it's I need to focus on those two things. But yeah, it just feels a bit weird when I do it, like coming through the rock over and when your hands kind of overlap, it feels like there's less space. And then also I think part of the reason I do it is because at the finish, my kind of right comes in a bit closer and I like to have a bit of space there. And I notice if my thumb was on the end, that it would brush into my body, but it just means I need to adjust my hand height. If I could do it on the left, I can do it on the right. I'm not here to make excuses. So the next one was straight arms. Let's see if this video is going to be... No, it's not. Yes, it is. So I bend my arms on the drive. So I don't want to do that. Rather than thinking about... So maybe I should do a different video on this, but bending your arms like is okay. You do lose a tiny bit of length, but what happens is if you were side on, if you saw me... Why is this pen not working? There we go. If you saw me, side on like that, compressed legs, when your arm is out straight, there's a bigger angle in here. And when there's a bigger angle in there, your lat, I don't know how to draw that. Your lat will have to work harder. But when you are rocked over, blah, 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 you have a bit of a bend in your arm like that. This angle, so obviously you're shorter, so you're not rowing as long, but this angle is less. And when there's a shorter angle, it's less strain on your lats. So it can help engaging your lats a little bit easier. What I have noticed is that all the best women scullers in the world don't have bent arms, and then all the best male scullers in the world have bent arms. I'm not going to lie to you, like I don't actually understand why. I think part of that would be just generally less powerful crews rely more on technique. So I think that's one thing. But I know that women relative to men have stronger lower bodies and less strong upper bodies. So there's a more kind of, I guess, an imbalance, or you could say that men were imbalanced relative to their upper body. So I think men can they can get away with a bent arm, but does that mean it's optimal? Does it mean they would go faster with a longer arm? It's interesting. I don't know is it a case of that's the better way to row, and if you're stronger, you should do it? Or is it a case of it's a bad habit, but you can get away with it if you're strong enough? The interesting thing you would say, because of this effect here, like if you were weaker, arguably this is something that you should do because your lats are then aided. So who knows? I don't entirely understand the physiology. Maybe women have relatively stronger lats compared to their arms when comparing them to men. I have no idea. But just shitballing some stuff there. So the way I am fixing this is by having my arms, so you can just see there's a little bit of a kink in the arms, and I just don't like it. I want it to be straight. I want it to be perfect. But the way I'm fixing that is, it's not really obvious in this video, but to get my arms perfectly straight on the way going in. And your body likes to do the same thing on the way. So you can see here, there's just a bit of a bend. Like my arms should be perfectly straight here. And our bodies like to do the same thing on the way back that we do on the way in. So if you lunge at the catch, you're going to lunge going out, i.e. you're going to open your back early. But if you hold still with the chest going in, you're going to be still with the chest going out. So if you have an early arm bend going in, you're going to have an early arm bend going back. So the controllable way, the easy way I'm working on this is just by making sure my arms are locked before I get to the catch. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. The other thing I'm working on is engaging my legs a little bit more. I think because I had a back injury so early on in my career that I learned to apply force through the back end of the stroke, where you're a little bit safer with your back. You're not stretched, so you can apply power in an arguably safer way. But yeah, now it was actually chatting with some of our kind of coaches in edge rowing as well. We were talking about it, but I'm just having a bit more of an emphasis of getting on the legs and pushing my legs. That's it. It's literally just use the legs to push. And I think before I would kind of just like let my legs go down and really have that focus on the back end acceleration. So yeah, it's good. I really like that feeling, especially because I do think my catches are pretty good. I think when you get a nice catch with a good leg drive, it just feels awesome. So anyways, that covers it for today. A lot of the stuff here is pretty simple how to do it. If you want to fix your arm bend, straighten your arms on the recovery. If you want to use your legs more, then use your legs more. If you want to put your thumb on the end of the oar, then put your thumb on the end of the oar. You kind of get where I'm going here. The main one, I would say, the drill is the elbow up. Sometimes that can be a hard habit to break, and that sculling with your right hand over the left can be helpful. So yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more, and I'm going to try and get a bit more consistent with the YouTube.